Hello everybody, I'm Brett and welcome to Nightwood Guns. Today I have a very exciting review for you, the Holosun 507k. Big shout out to the Hub in Tucson, Arizona for making sure they had one of these available for me to purchase. Now I know you all have been waiting for this review for just as long as I have, so let's get right into it. First of all, I want to mention that I'm normally very biased against Holosun, and the reason for that is because I prefer to support American manufacturing, and these sites are manufactured in China.
How do you get shirts so clean, Mr. Lee?
Ancient Chinese secret.
That being said, it's really hard to argue that this isn't the best red dot option for these micro carry guns. Holosun definitely has a winner on their hands here, and we're going to go over why. Let's start out with the pros of the Holosun 507k. So the best thing about this optic is the side-loading battery tray. Just take the little screwdriver that comes with it, pop the tray open, old battery out, new battery in. There is no need to break your Loctite, remove your optic, put a new battery in, put it back on, and then reconfirm zero. The side-loading battery tray saves you from all of that trouble. Next up, I love the plus and minus buttons. They're both on the same side, they're both very rubbery, easy to grip, and they're very tactile with their clicks. I think my favorite thing about the buttons is that you can manipulate both buttons, plus and minus, one-handed. But whether you want to use the one hand, your offhand, or discreetly adjust it underneath your shirt, they nailed the buttons on this thing. Next up is the durability. Now, I haven't torture tested this thing. I'm gonna leave that to Sage Dynamics.
You're gonna die, clown!
But you can tell the second you pick this optic up that it is more durable than the SIG Romeo Zero by far and the Shield RMSC. The housing is made out of metal, the lens is made out of impact-resistant glass. What more do you need to know? The next thing that I personally really like about it is when they originally were showing off this optic, they had a giant Holosun on top and then Holosun on the side. They removed the Holosun from the top of the optic, so everybody take a breath of relief that we're not going to be scratching sugar cubes across the tops of our 507Ks. Another thing that I love about this optic is the way they milled the rear sight into the optic. Now with the Romeo Zero, you get a couple of little reference nubs that don't always line up because since it's made out of polymer, it doesn't always sit flush. This, however, always sits flush, and the rear sights actually swoop up into points, giving you very sharp and precise reference notches to match up with your front sight. I also thought the window size was going to be a problem on an optic this small, but I haven't found that to be the case. The window seems to be just big enough to give you enough information when looking down the sights without massively hanging over the side of the optic. It seems they found a good balance. Now, I only have a few hundred rounds through this firearm with the 507k on there, so I can't really speak for its long-term reliability, but for right now, it has proven to be perfectly reliable. I've had no flickering of the dot, the screws have not backed out, everything seems to be working just the way it should. This sight is hands down the best option on the market, there's no getting around it. Now let's get into the negatives. Now when I'm talking about the negatives, I want you to take them with a grain of salt, and the reason for that is I'm having to be really nitpicky on this sight to find many things wrong with it. Now keep in mind, a lot of my criticism comes from the fact that I have been spoiled with the Trijicon RMR, made in the USA by the way, that I currently have mounted to my Carry P365 XL via a Maple Leaf Firearms adapter plate. All right, here we go into the negatives. Negative number one, and this is getting really nitpicky, the sight overhangs further on one side of the gun than it does the other. Now while this in no way impacts the function of the sight, it is a slight aesthetic annoyance. I understand why they probably did it because the battery tray is on that side, but still I figured it would be worth mentioning since I have it in my hands. Next up is the crispness of the dot. Now I would say this dot is just as crisp as a dot on a Shield RMSC or just as crisp as a dot on the Romeo Zero, but once you start to go into Trijicon territory, that's where it just falls short. To my eye, the Holosun 507k dot seems to be a little bit fuzzy and not quite completely round, but that is by no means going to affect the performance of this dot in a self-defense concealed carry role. It is definitely serviceable, it is above average.
That's what she said!
It'll get you on target and shoot dead on. And my next negative, I think, is my biggest one. In any open emitter red dot, you're going to have some distortion in the glass. Some sacrifices have to be made when you are making a durable and reliable open emitter red dot sight. But for my limited experience with the Shield RMSC, my extensive experience with the Romeo Zero, and my extensive experience with the Trijicon RMR, this Holosun 507k has more distortion in the glass than any of those. Now, while this doesn't make much of a difference in the concealed carry self-defense role, when you are trying to take a precision shot at long range, the distortion on the glass can be a little distracting. The other time I found the distortion of the glass distracting was during target transitions. Moving from one target to another, you can really see the fishbowl effect when you get over to the second target. In fact, I would say the distortion is bad enough that it almost looks like 1.5 times magnification. Now, in all practical self-defense drills that I ran with this optic, the distortion did not affect my shooting. It's only on those precision shots or target transitions that you notice that fishbowl magnification effect. But I think with concealed carry, you're gonna have no trouble with it. That's it. That's all I had that was negative about the Holosun 507k. I think Holosun has the best micro carry red dot on the market at this point. They really upped the competition with the Shield RMSC, and they absolutely destroyed the Romeo Zero. Now I'm interested to see how the battery life holds up, because the Romeo Zero claimed 20,000 hours of battery life, but only lasted me 3 months. If I have any problems with this sight moving forward, you know to expect a video from me, because when something goes bad, it motivates me to make a video to warn you all. But as of right now, the Holosun 507k, and for that matter the 407k, are good to go. If you've been waiting for it, then you will not be disappointed. I do think Holosun deserves a little bit of criticism for remaining so silent and leaving people waiting for this site without being transparent and giving them updates. But as far as the actual product goes, in my book, my particular example is good to go. Now, while I'm not ready to give up my Trijicon RMR, the Holosun 507k is easily the best sight that is made for these micro carry guns. Thank you so much to all of my subscribers for supporting me. If you haven't subscribed yet, please be sure to hit the subscribe button now. Thanks for tuning in, everybody. I'm Brett, and this was Nightwood Guns. Nightwood out.